Hello guys, it's Trigger Art here, back with another video. On today's video, we're going to be tackling how to apply line weights into your drawings. So the first thing one needs to pay attention to is applying pressure onto your drawings. The less pressure, the thinner the line, and the more pressure you apply, the thicker the line. This works on graphic tablets and also digital pens, digital drawing pens as well. There are pens that use pressure, which make it easier for you to draw thicker or thinner lines. But then it also depends on your settings, your pen tool setup. You can also apply the thickness or thinness traditionally by reducing the size of the pen. I'm going to use the cube as an example, using three methods: the plain line, thin line, the dynamic line, as well as the outline. So the dynamic line is when you implement the thicker lines or dynamic lines inside the shape, within the corners, the edges, or where the shades might apply. And lastly, the outline is where you apply the thicker lines outside the cube. This gives the cubes like a bit more life into it, makes them pop. They are very useful for dynamic panels or action panels, or even like cover pages, to give the illustration or the drawing more life and more oomph. Now let's implement all the techniques with the method that we have learned into this illustration. Here specifically, I'm going for a Superman pose. He's basically flying into space. So I'll start off with the sketch, a basic simple sketch to lay out the structure for applying the line art. It is recommended that before you start with your line art, you first start with the sketch. Will really help you in making things easier when you enter the line phase, and you'll just basically be tracing over the sketch and then tweaking just a little bit so that you get the line art right, and then everything works out perfectly. So now we are starting with the first line, the basic line, the flat line, the plain line method. Here it's a very simple line method that does not require any line weight. We see this mostly in animation. Because of time, they have a schedule, and their deadlines are normally tight, so they normally work just with plain line, nothing detailed, nothing special, just simple plain line illustrations. So yeah, I'll let it play for a while and we'll proceed when we'll enter the second phase. basically for the second method, I'll just be duplicating the artwork and then adding the dynamic lines within the illustration to make it pop more. So areas where that might need to be enlarged and also where shades will be present, that's where you should focus on your line weights, adding more depth into the illustration to make it come out more. It's a really good method because it makes the artwork stand out, and makes it even less flat. It will no longer feel as flat as just using consistent lines throughout the entire illustration. So most of the times in other areas you can just wing it, but it's advised that you implement thicker lines where your shades are going to be more present. Yeah, for the last method, it's basically the most simple in a way. You just add thicker lines on the edge and the outer part of the illustration. This is a really good method to implement, especially when the character in a panel, in a comic panel or an action panel, it is coming out of the panel, or he appears as if he's coming out of the panel. It is a good line method to implement when you are going for a dramatic dramatic panel. It doesn't have to be an action panel, but just a dynamic dramatic action or not action panel. You can basically implement this method. I hope this video was helpful, was of value. Consider liking, sharing, and subscribing, and I'll see you guys on the next one.